You're a tiny worm, crawling blindly at the bottom of an ancient ocean. You can't see, you can't think. You have no mouth, no eyes, no brain, just instincts. And now imagine this. That slimy little nothing is your great-great-great-grandparent. Hard to believe, right? But here's the real mindbender. We're never meant to exist, and yet here you are. Let's rewind the clock not by years, not even by millennia, but by 4 billion years. Earth is a living nightmare. Not a planet, but a bubbling sphere of fire, lava, and gas. No oceans, no sky, just violent storms and endless explosions. This wasn't Earth. This was hell with a zip code. But then something happened. Doesn't matter. What does matter is what that water did next. Something so statistically impossible, it's practically supernatural. Water arrived. Maybe from an asteroid. Maybe from a comet. It began to brew. Picture a cauldron bubbling with chemicals, heat, lightning millions of volts slamming down onto a lifeless soup. Then boom, a miracle. A few chemicals bond in just the right sequence a gene gives, that gene becomes a message. Gives that message becomes life. One oily little bubble traps a genetic code, gives that becomes the first living cell, gives that cell copies itself gives, and just like that, life begins. Not plants, not dinosaurs, not humans, just one fragile speck floating in a chemical ocean. And from that single speck everything begins. For 2 billion years, nothing changes. It's all single cells, floating around, multiplying like the world's most boring rave. Then one day a glitch. 2 cells fuse. Accidentally? Instead of dying, they share DNA. Now there are 2 parents, not one. Sex is born, and with it, the magic of variation. Every now and then, a gene gets duplicated or deleted. It's messy, it's chaotic, it's evolution. Mutants emerge, some die instantly, others become something more. Some grow tails, some grow fins, some grow eyes. Yes, eyes. A few cells start to sense light. Suddenly life can tell day from night, predators from prey, and just like that. The evolutionary arms race begins. The first creatures with primitive eyes dominate. The more they survive, the more they mutate. Eventually, those patches of light-sensitive skin evolve into sight. You see a shadow gives you dodge, you see prey gives. You pounce, you see everything, and you owe it all to a few mutated skin cells and a billion years of struggle. Flash forward, you're now a foot-long armored fish. Pretty badass. You've got teeth, you've got jaws. You can chew and chase. But there's a problem. A monster's coming. It's bigger, meaner, hungrier. You run, but there's nowhere to go. You dive into shallow water. The oxygen's low. You're suffocating. Cells start shutting down. Death is certain. Then something miraculous happens again. One of your organs starts changing. You develop a pouch that can trap air. It's crude, it's inefficient, but it's a lung. You take a breath, it hurts, but it works. And that desperate gasp. That's why when you get the hiccups today, it's your ancient fish ancestors' lung reflex spasming inside your chest. It's the reason you're breathing right now. Millions of years later, this freak adaptation saves your entire lineage. Which, no joke. 365 million years ago, you're no longer just a fish. You're something new. You've got lungs and claws and a brain, and you make the boldest move in evolutionary history. You crawl out of the water. It's not for fun, not for glory, but for survival. You leave the swamp behind, and now there's no going back. But the land is brutal. The sun scorches your soft skin, the ground tears your fins to ribbons. You are literally a fish out of water, and yet you push forward. Your skin thickens. Your fins turn to limbs. Your claws help you dig, grip, and climb. And eventually you become Cenaria, a creature who can live and breathe entirely on land. But there's a catch. Your eggs dry out in the sun. So evolution gets creative again. You start fertilizing them inside the female, a hard shell. Forms an egg with everything the baby needs, and with it, sex as we know it. That wasn't just reproduction. That was the blueprint for mammals. Birds, reptiles, and you. We should have died 1,000 times already, but somehow we kept mutating, adapting. Surviving from a blind worm in the ocean to a fish with lungs to a reptile laying eggs under the sun. But this ride isn't over, in fact. It's about to get way worse, because coming up next, the worst extinction event in Earth's history: volcanoes, dark skies, mass death, and yet, in the ashes. A tiny creature is born that will eventually lead to you. Are you ready to meet your prehistoric rodent ancestor? You owe it your life, literally. It's 250 million years ago and the world is ending. No, it's not like an asteroid, not yet this time. It's coming from below, deep in Siberia. The Earth rips itself open, a super plume of magma hotter, then hell explodes from the mantle. Molten rock pours out for 500,000 years, covering land the size of the United States under lava. 1,000 feet deep volcanic smoke floods the sky. Carbon dioxide traps the sun's heat like a coffin lid. Temperatures soar past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Everywhere the oceans turn to acid. Oxygen vanishes. 95% of all life gone. This isn't extinction, this is annihilation, but somehow a few creatures hang on by a thread. One of them. It's ours. Our ancestors didn't dominate, they survived, and that's enough while we're licking our wounds. Someone else takes the throne. The dinosaurs. Fast, strong, adapted. They sprint into the power vacuum. We try to keep up, but we're outgunned. Outmatched and outnumbered, we evolve into a tiny furball the size of a kitten. Her name is Tinin. She's shivering in the dark. Eyes wide, nose twitching, she smells something. It's a predator, a Herrerasaurus, a 5-foot-tall death machine. Tinin runs. Not because she's weak, but because she's smart. She hides in the shadows, sleeps during the day, hunts at night, and that decision to become nocturnal changes everything. Have you ever wondered why you get goosebumps when you're scared? Tiny muscles around each hair on your skin contract, they trap heat. Puff you up. It's not useless. It's a survival trick passed down from Tinin and her family. When predators were near, they needed to look bigger, stay warmer, and stay alive, and it worked. Their senses, sharpened eyes, adapted for the dark noses tuned to pick up the faintest whiff of danger inside their brains. Something miraculous happened. A new structure began to grow. The neocortex, the birthplace of abstract thought, of memory, of imagination, and eventually, of language. Now it's 66 million years ago, Montana, early morning. A small rodent is scurrying through the underbrush. Her name is Baden. She's 2 inches long. With a brain firing on all cylinders, she's foraging, hearing something coming. But this time, it's not a predator. It's the end of the world. An asteroid the size of a mountain slams into the peninsula, 800 miles away. But the shock is instant. Earthquakes, mega tsunamis, the sky turns to fire ash and dust blot out the sun. For years, temperatures drop, vegetation dies, everything the dinosaurs need, gone. The giants collapse. But Badan, she digs, she waits. She eats bugs and rotten things that would make you vomit today. She survives the age of dinosaurs, ends the age of mammals, begins. And Badan, our tiny, terrified ancestor, wins. In a world without dinosaurs, mammals explode across the earth, one of the weirdest innovations. Milk sweat glands mutate. They begin producing a rich fluid packed with nutrients. Instead of laying eggs and walking away, mammals nurture their young, keep them safe, feed them warmth and love. And something amazing happens. Brains start getting bigger. Babies are born earlier. They require more care. So parents stick around longer in that social bond. That's the spark of what will become love, community, family. You don't just exist because your ancestors survived. You exist because they cared. So let's get this straight. We survived Earth's biggest volcanic apocalypse. We survived the dinosaurs. We survived an asteroid that wiped out nearly everything else, and the reason. We were small. We were soft. We were insignificant, but we adapted faster. We didn't need to dominate. We needed to endure. Next time you look down on a mouse, just remember, without creatures like Badan, you wouldn't exist. You're not the descendant of kings. You're the child of terrified rodents who ran and hid. And yet, that cowardice, that instinct, was smarter than brute strength by now. You've clawed your way from a cell in boiling water to a shivering mammal hiding in dinosaur shadows. But your journey is just beginning, because now comes the most brutal transformation of all, one that will shatter your bones, twist your spine, and nearly kill your children. We are going to stand up, and it's going to change everything from the shape of our skulls to the way we love. Fight and think. The day we took our first step on 2 legs. And why human birth is a horror show we barely survive. 4.4 million years ago, Africa is brutal, hot, dry, dangerous. Your Ardipithecus ramidus, 4 feet tall. Brain the size of an orange. Feet made for gripping branches, your forest is disappearing, food is scarce, and you're desperate, then it happens. You let go of the branch, and you put one foot on the ground, then another, you stand up. And in that moment, your spine curves, your pelvis tightens, your muscles shift. It's awkward, it's painful, but it works. You walk, and that step simple. Shaky and revolutionary launches a chain of disasters and miracles that shapes everything you are today. Walking gave us range. It freed our hands, we could carry food, tools, and each other, but evolution is a cruel negotiator, the trade. Narrower hips, tighter birth canal, and now our babies can't develop fully before birth. So they come out early, tiny, helpless, barely alive. Human childbirth becomes a blood-soaked nightmare of screams. Pain and death, but something else happens. We start protecting them, nursing them, teaching them. Our kids don't just survive, they learn, and it rewires our brains. Love becomes more than instinct. It becomes strategy. We grow smarter because our children force us to, 3.2 million years ago. You're a Australopithecus, you walk upright, your brain is a grapefruit. You're not fast, you're not strong, but you are. Lucky the lion just finished eating someone else, so you live another day. That's enough time for your brain to evolve again. You can't outrun your predators, but you can't outthink them. Your jaw muscles shrink, your skull expands, your brain grows. This is where the leap begins. You are now a strategist. You're planning, noticing, connecting patterns. You see a carcass and wonder, what if I could get inside that bone? What's in there? 2.3 million years ago, you're Homo habilis, the handy man. You're starving. But there's a bone thick, heavy, locked tight with precious marrow. Then you do something no creature has done before. You pick up a rock, you sharpen it, you cut the bone open, and just like that, you unlock a whole new world. You're no longer just surviving nature, you're hacking it. Tools become your second set of teeth, your second set of hands, your first technology, and it changes your body's stronger thumbs, more precise fingers. A brain that doesn't just react, it imagines this tool. It's your iPhone, your spaceship, your skyscraper, but it starts as a rock and hungry ape. 1.8 million years ago, meet Homo erectus. He's got long legs, a broad chest, and a secret weapon. Endurance, he can't outrun prey, but he can outlast it. He runs it to death. Slow, steady, relentless, and at night. He does something world-changing. He makes fire, not just for warmth, not just to cook meat, but to gather suddenly. Family becomes a thing. We sit, we talk, we protect. Fire is safety, and safety means we live longer, which means we raise more kids, which means we pass on more knowledge. Cooking softens food. Our jaws shrink, our teeth retreat. Less energy spent, chewing, more energy for thinking. The brain balloons again. Language begins first as grunts, then as words. Then as culture 200,000 years ago, you are Homo sapiens, the wise man. Your brain is huge. Your voice is clear. Your tools are advanced. And you do something no other creature can do. You tell stories, you imagine a future. You remember the past. You teach things that aren't visible or present, and that makes you dangerous. You cross rivers, climb mountains, dominate continents. You bury your dead. You paint on cave walls. You invent gods and empires, and TikTok and traffic lights. You are the improbable outcome of 4 billion years of accidents, disasters, and wild luck. But here's the twist. You shouldn't be here. The odds of you existing, of any one person, is estimated at 1 in 400 trillion. Let that sink in. Every meteor that missed, every predator that looked the wrong way, every mutation that didn't kill your ancestors, every egg that hatched every footstep. Claw, cell division. All of it had to go exactly right. So don't tell me you're just one person. You are the rarest event in the history of the universe. Next time you're stuck in traffic or scrolling aimlessly on your phone or wondering if your life has meaning, just remember. You are the end result of 4 billion years of relentless survival, from boiling oceans, to dinosaurs, to near extinction, to walking upright and setting the world on fire. You are here because something inside you, inside all of us, refused to quit. So the real question is, what are you going to do with that miracle?